All right, I think we are live. Everything looks good. Oh, thanks, Kato and Moose, for already being down there. Y'all are fast. Good show in the Scotch for Dummies as usual. Always a good time, and a lot of people there tonight. Congratulations on the new cask coins. I went ahead and ordered four for myself. Um, I already have the three different ones from the Scotch test dummies, Scott and Bart, and been collecting those. I actually won one as well that was signed by them. It was really cool. In their first, I think it was their first 12 hours of Boom last year, and answered some trivia questions in the first hour, which was pretty cool. And won also a tap for a barrel, which was kind of cool. It's signed by them as well. So yeah, Scotch for Dummies. You should probably do some things where you can get some cask coins signed or something, because that would be pretty cool. It's a good idea. Good to see you, John Post and Louis and Scott. Thanks for stopping by. Dram in California. Always good to see you, man. Even if it's a dry day. Well, we're gonna hop right into this. Doing the I poured a little bit of this earlier to let it air out a bit, because even though these aren't aged per se, they do have a little age on them. I'm sure they're about 6 to 7 years old, I would guess. Had to do the Mark Broda patented sniffer, and both of these are peated gems. I have a feeling that we're going to be satisfied, but you never know. Sometimes you run into something you're kind of like, I'm not quite sure if that's really what I'm looking for. But thankfully, both Talisker and Laphroaig are. I've done a bunch of them, and the only letdown Laphroaig's ever done to me is their select offering, which is their entry level. It's 40% ABV, which to me is tough to, unless it's a 40-year-old Scotch that's got great flavor. It's hard to get away with a 40% ABV. It's got to be delicate. It's got to be strong flavor and extremely old. So, but if it's for someone that's brand new to Scotch that can't handle like a 10 or a cask strength or even a quarter cask, it might be a good option. But and Talisker has never let me down. I'm happy with their 10 as like a solid dram. It's something I try to have. I like it so much I don't usually have any left. But that one, the Storm's pretty good still. I've heard. I have not had that one. The only two I've had are the 10 and the Distillers Edition, which I absolutely adore. It's about $80 for the distillers around here in Maryland. Well worth it though. I think it's really good. It's on par with Lagavulin Distillers. Totally different taste because it's not a sherry influence as that one, but it's really nicely. It's refined. It's 10 on steroids to me. I love it. Also, we're going to look at the Talisker Dark Storm, which is a travel retail exclusive. I was really lucky. Bobby Purnell, extremely happy to get a sample and some salsa. And also he sent a few interesting Texas whiskeys specifically, as well as an old particular Talisker. I think it's an 8-year. I have to look at the bottle. I'm going by memory there. It's a Douglas Slang independent bottle called Old Particular, which I've had a Strathclyde 11, was really happy with it. So hopefully that one will be on par. If this one's, it's something he enjoys, and if it's something I enjoy, I'll definitely be looking for more Old Particular independent bottlings from Douglas Slang if that works out. Let me go up to some comments here. Hey, Scott. No, it's okay. I know you guys are busy, so I appreciate any time you get a chance to stop by. Lee thinks Laphroaig sucks, which I know is BS because he's a big fanboy like I am. I think that you were the one that got me hooked on the Cairdeas, and that's Cairdeas, by the way. Cairdeas. It's like the D is like a soft J. Anyway, but he got me hooked on all the different offerings, and Lee G actually has every Cairdeas offering there is from 2008 to 2018. He actually completed his collection the other day, and I was so jealous to see some of those pictures. I was like, you got to be kidding me. He's got like all of the old school editions, and they're in perfect condition, unopened. He's tasted them all too at the same time, I think, with maybe the exception of the first one or two. But damn, dude. One day, maybe before I die, I'll be able to do the same thing. We'll have to see. We're going to try and the Cairdeas when it shows up here. Yeah, I'll tell you a quick story. Laphroaig was actually in town here in Annapolis, Maryland recently. My wife found it was a cruise that they were offering where you go down Annapolis. We met up at this the sailboat, and you got on, and the guys were like advertising it as a Cairdeas cruise type of thing. And I'm thinking, well, surely we're either going to have the Cairdeas 15 that was released this year for the Friends of Laphroaig, or hopefully they got at least the Cairdeas 2018 Fino Cask that just was released this year, not the 2017 quarter cask cask strength that was for last year. So I was excited. We get there, and at the end you're supposed to get a bottle of this too, and so I'm like all excited, and we go, and they didn't have it because it was stuck on a ship in customs. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. We were able to get the lore, which is a really good offering out of it, but I mean, it's kind of funny because the lore is worth a lot more money, but the rarity of the 2018 Cairdeas is still kind of there because you can't, like, I went to my favorite store that has everything here in Maryland. Typically, I mean, they have everything I could think of, and they don't have it yet. It's still going through customs and all that. So I'm surprised that I guess my friend Lee G, he supported this one, and I'm not sure how I guess he got it online really fast, or they had it at a local store. I can't remember if I asked you or not where you got that one from, but either way, hey, that open bar, that Scott, that local barley is actually that's an empty. That 10 didn't last long. That's a good one, my friend. You should look up my review on that one. It was fun to do, and I know where I can get an 11 and a 16, so I'm going to try to get my hands on the 16 at some point. I've heard that's like the holy grail of the Springbanks, unless you get to the older stuff, the 25s and up, which I can't, be throwing money out for that. Tom is curious to see what I think about the Fino. I don't like Laphroaig, but the Fino Cairdeas is quite friendly. Interesting. I've heard some chattering on it, but we'll see what we get out of it. Bobby, thank you for stopping by. He just poured himself some Dark Storm. We'll look at that one first, because I have a feeling that this one, even though it's peated, it's not going to be as intense as the Laphroaig, is my guess. You're also going from 45.8 ABV with the Talisker Dark Storm to a 51.8 on the higher end for the Cairdeas. The Dark Storm is interesting because, like the Ardbeg Grooves, this is matured in heavily charred casks, which is intriguing. This is a 1 liter typically, because it's travel retail only. And I've heard some recent clamoring about travel retail's exclusive offerings not being that good. And I'm like, well, you can't say that. I mean, there are some that I have not, been as impressed with. I would agree. I'm sure Highland Park has some good ones and some iffy ones. As I've had a great Bowmore, Golden Reef, I thought was great, but I'm sure they have some ones that some people might not be as into. But I've had a Bunnahaven, the Croque Vin, which was really good. But the Ernagrena was really, really, really good. That was one of my favorite Bunnahavens of all time, next to the 18, I have to say. And that's a travel retail exclusive 1 liter. So don't let people tell you that all travel retail exclusives aren't worth it, because some of them are very good. That Laphroaig Anclemore, one of my favorite Laphroaigs of all of them. I mean, even the lower, I think I like the Anclemore even more than that. Doesn't have the age maybe, but as far as flavor and just overall taste and balance, I think it's really damn good. And we, you can get into the PX cask is another one. It's fantastic. So don't let Travel Retail Exclusive scare you away. It doesn't make any sense to me at least. Yeah, let's get on with it. Lightness says that my collection has some shortcomings. I don't have anything over 40 years old. Yeah, that don't make me cry. Tom says that Chicago's had it for a few weeks now. Huh, I guess, I don't know, maybe, I think you guys might get your shipments from California, I'm guessing. So I think the East Coast might have had a problem with customs or something, but it's hard to say because you're taking this word of mouth from the Laphroaig guys, and Lee and I have been burned by them. We went to the DC Whiskey Fest, and they were advertising the 25, the 27, and the 30 for their VIP experience. So we're all excited, and we're debating on what to hit first. And of course, we're smart enough to know you don't want to go for your peat stuff first, even though it's rare. You don't want them to run out, but you don't want to be, saturating your, obliterating your palate just to try an old Laphroaig right from the get-go. So we thought we'll hit a couple first, and then we'll hit it maybe number three or four, and we did so. We get there, and the guys only have the 27. They don't have the 25 or the 30. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! We spent like $350 just for the ticket to get into the place, not counting all the other hotels and car valet stuff and all the other expenses that comes along with it. So needless to say, we were kind of pissed, and the guy had this green boot with him. He had a bottle of the Four Oak, which is a Travel Retail exclusive that it's not available in the United States at all. So he kind of teased it, but the Four Oak, it's not a horrible bottle, but it's like a step above the Select. It's not as I don't like it as much as the 10 or the Cask Strength or some of these other ones up here, the Cairdeas offerings. It's kind of like, maybe their second or third worst offering, in my opinion, that I've had so far. I still have to try the 1815 and the, there was another one, I think. The 1815 is high on my list. I've heard that's pretty good. It looks like the Lore bottle. It's a dark color. It's a Travel Retail exclusive as well, so. That's the tough thing about these Travel Retail exclusives. Unless you're traveling, all the time, it's hard to get that. Yeah, they dropped the ball in DC. Hopefully, and the funny thing is, Lee and I were walking around some whiskey stores in DC, and they had these bottles. So the guy could have just walked down the block, literally a couple blocks down the road, and picked up the 30 or the 25. I'm sure they would have. Laphroaig would have spotted him for it if they deemed it an emergency. But after getting burned by that, and after getting burned on this, I wouldn't say burned, but kind of let down by this cruise not having the Cairdeas, I'm like, Laphroaig is unfortunately, this is the second time I would almost call it false advertising. So I love their stuff. I love their taste. Just the marketing department needs to get on the ball before they, burn some bridges, is all I'm going to say. Let's hit some of this Talisker. Now I got on my soapbox. I'm going to do a monologue here. This color is really nice looking. I think this is not. I don't think Talisker does color. Let's take a look at some notes on this other monitor over here to see if I can get any extra notes about coloring and such. They don't really talk about it. I'm not suspecting it too much, depending on what type of, it's heavily charred cask, so I'm sure they're like smoked to just high heaven. Scotsy looks really nice. The legs are real slow. It holds shape really well. Doesn't look overly thin. Damn, that smells good. Wow, man, it's a Talisker as soon as you even get close to it. Oh, it's nice. It's not only does it have that pow in your face, power to the smoke and the peat. It's got some really nice barbecue sweetness in there too. Kind of reminiscent of an Ardbeg, I think. Triple cap sand is colored, and I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, at least it's not like Dalmore colored. Put it that way. It's not completely over the top, but I would like to see the natural look of it. So we might ding it a little bit for that. Chill filtering, triple cap. Are you familiar with if this one is? It's 45.8. I don't. It's kind of like right at that level where it's hard to tell if they would or not. I mean, for something that's, I think this is more of a higher priced one. I think it's like in the $80 to $100 range, if I'm not mistaken. If someone's got it, let me know if it's around like 260 for the Dark Storm. No way. Or was that a different bottle you're talking about? Oh, you're talking about a old Laphroaig 18. Yeah, I found an old, the old green tin. I found a newer one. I found this, the lighter one for 80, $90, which was a really nice find. But 260, man, is crazy. But that's what they go for. Those, especially those older ones. Even these newer ones, you can't get them for under $300 typically. So if you see an 18 out there, you know, Bobby says it was about 80. That sounds about right. And I'm surprised they would color it for that much. 80 to 85. I'm surprised they would color it because you know, for that kind of price, you'd think that they would be a little more all natural. But the I'm curious about the chill filter, and let me know if you know if it's chill filter or not. You definitely get lemon off the top. That was like the first kind of a zesty lemon note. Not in a bad way. I'm not a big lemon fan, but it's married with some. I'm not sure if trying to think of the smoke. It's like some like floral properties of some sort. I'm trying to dig it out. I think it smells spices in there too. There's definitely some citrus, not just lemon, but I think some oranges. Maybe some sweet cherries, like not sure about maraschino, but like not black cherries, but like just a nice medium red. It's a really nice nose, man. I could nose this for a while and be happy with that. You already have a white tin, so I said it's out of the past. Yeah, Dram, I don't blame you on that one. I have heard it's different, but I'm not sure if it's different as far as you know, to justify the price of that is just crazy. But you know, we'll see. I know I'll have to have a little bit of that old school 18 to really be able to tell them. The new 18, I mean, I call it the new 18. It's not even available anymore, but that 18 is awesome. I love that stuff. Scott says a couple of 18s running for 100. I would pick that up right in a heartbeat, Scott. No joke. That stuff aftermarket right now is about 300 everywhere I've looked, because I wanted to get another one because I've got this one, and one that might go to a gift to somebody for Christmas this year. He knows who he is because he's had his eye on it for a bit. I'm debating on whether it's going to make a good Christmas gift, possibly. We'll have to see. But yeah, I would be all over that for 100. 100 or less, it's a no-brainer. I mean, I would even go maybe as high as 130 because it's just as good, if not better, than the Lore. I mean, because it's solid 18 juice. Even though the Lore has got some older stuff in there, I think it's got some 27 to 30, but it's a solid, delicate, but yet powerful taste, I think. Oh yeah, Kansas. I'm not sure what the prices are comparatively, but too much on my list. I'll have one sealed. Oh wow, yeah, these don't last long here. Neither they. Same here, Tram. For 18 can be found in backwaters like Wichita for nice prices. You better not send generously Paul that 18 for Christmas. No, I wasn't talking about Paul, man. Oh, that's funny. I found it in Chestertown, Maryland for less than 100. Get over there. Okay, wow. Okay. And this is, you're talking about the 18? Was it a green? Or the white one like that one up there? Just curious, triple cap, which version of the deal was it? Mm. There's some nuttiness going on in here too. Maybe some cashews, like kind of a sweet nut, like a roasted, like one of those candy covered peanuts. Wow. I'm down with it. Triple was saying it is colored and chill filtered, but still very good. And I think he's on something. I think it's one of those things where you take an NAS, but Talisker's core juice is so damn good, they can play around with it and still hold that quality, letting a couple things kind of slide for price sakes. If it was an age statement like a 12 and was natural coloring and it was unchill filtered, they probably would charge you 150 to 200 for it. So I have a feeling that maybe why I don't know. So far so good though. Wow, that is different. That is a smoky beast there. Wow, heavy smoke. That was the first note, and I'm getting a little like a Mexican chocolate mole, kind of a spicy chocolate. Wow, that's the first stuff. That one little sip, man. Don't touch it with water. 45.8 is perfect. It's a medium mouthfeel. Not as heavy as like a Clynelish 14, something like that, but it's not as thin as a 40, ABV or a thinner deal. Triple says he's got the he's talking about the why can't I'll Triple, send me an email and let me know which 18 in Chesterton you're talking about, if it's the white or the green can. Lee said he had the green can 18 and lost his mind. Haven't had the white can 18. Oh, that's one I have, Lee, is the white. It's really good. Tosh, my friend, came over and experienced it, the one I had open here, and he was like, and I have a lot, as you can tell, and that was his favorite bottle of all of them. We had everything from the Grooves CR to I think we had a little Lord, we had some Kilhoman, we had a little bit of everything, and that was his go-to favorite. Hey, Swami, and good luck on your trip tomorrow on the Route 66. Check out Swami's. I'm sure he's going to be doing some live casting on that trip. Hopefully they'll come through. I don't think Route 66 even comes close over here, but maybe you'll do an I-95 trip sometime. Bobby's saying that Old Particular 8, which is another bottle of sauce I've got back here, is non-chill filtered in no coloring. Even though it is young, it can really pick up on the absence of chill filtering. Yeah. This is really nice. Surprisingly, I haven't had the regular Storm yet, and I have a feeling I'm going to be let down a little bit by that one compared to this, as I've heard this one is a better an offering. The dark storm, the more intense smoke aspect of it is something I really enjoy. It also has a lot of maritime notes in there. You get that trademark Talisker seashell brininess. Really smooth delivery with that mole chocolate, though. That's, I think, the signature thing to this dram. And I don't think the Storm is going to have that that smoky dark chocolate spiciness. It might have the spiciness, but I don't think it's going to have that piece of the puzzle, which this one does. It's guess, but you know, it's a hypothesis at the same time. Wow. Finish though, I'm kind of iffy on. I'm gonna have a couple more sips before I get to that. Really, really nice though on the balance of the spice, the sweet, the smoke, savoriness. It's got some umami, I guess is what you call it. It's got some of that in there as well, like some maybe almost like a. I know it sounds insane. I always use mushroom gravy as like a tasting note. Sometimes it's a really nice, thick, earthy taste. I think it's not a complaint, but it's still going. It's got some nice salty briny. Like this, the salt's kind of like a funny thing because this could be your friend and your enemy at the same time because the saltiness tastes great initially, but it will dry you out. This is right on the borderline between dry and not dry, which I'm actually appreciating. Still got a nice coat. Got some vanilla on the finish. Some like white. Those white chocolate covered pretzels. That's what I kind of get from that finish, which is really good. That's one of my favorite candy type things, but it's a little dry for me, and I think it's because of the maritime salt brine thing going on. That part I love. It's just the aftermath. I wish maybe it was a little less dry, but that's not really bitching. That's just one of those characteristics. Either you know are looking for that or you're not. And same thing with the Fino. You have to be in the mood for a dry, acidic, salty, dry type of glass is what Fino Sherry produces. And this is not Fino Sherry, but it's got that. I think the brine creates that as well. Got a little banana come back for our nose. It's actually pretty complex for an NAS, I have to say. Wow, man, I wish this was like a 2-liter bottle. Cheers, Bobby Parnell. I really, really appreciate it. As you can tell, this is definitely going to be in my top. It's a top 10, I think. The Talisker is just from the 10 and Distiller's Edition. I was already a fan. Oh, and the 18. 18 is a great glass. It's definitely takes more time to appreciate it. It's got a lot of delicate things going on with it. You got to really sit down for like a good half hour with that glass to really get everything out of it. Hey, night, everyone. Thanks for stopping by, man. I'm off tomorrow, thank God. So thankfully, I get to stay up late. Yeah, compared to with the 10, this is definitely, I think, a better offering because the smoke. This is like the answer to Ardbeg's Ugadal, in my opinion. If you were going to have, you know, if you want to get the heaviest, smokiest glass you could find, that's a really great Islay Scotch. I'm thinking that the Ardbeg Ugadal is their best on that end. Talisker Darkstorm is probably the best super smoky Scotch. Lochgorn from Kilchoman, that's a really nice super smoky Scotch. Kalila 12, of course, you can't go wrong with that. Laphroaig, it's funny. They are peat masters, but they don't do super smoke. Has anyone had a really super smoky Laphroaig? That's one thing that I guess the lore is kind of, I don't know. It's got some smoke to it, but let me know if anyone's had a super smoky Laphroaig. That's one thing that they really need to get an offering out that has those qualities to it, I think. Triple's asking, where do they have the Darkstorm in? Oh, no. This is a travel retail exclusive, Triple. Unfortunately, you have to either Be traveling internationally, get it at a duty-free, like an airport store, or B, you have to order it from overseas. You can get lucky sometimes with that, ordering from the UK, some travel retail exclusive stuff. That's how I got the Anklemore, for example, because I don't travel internationally. It's not my thing. So I wish I could though, because I would definitely be picking up bottles all over the place. But this is really something that you have to really seek out to find. It's worth it though. I think it's worth every bit of $80. I would even pay 100. It's right up there with an Ugadal for the quality and the taste. It's got a decent finish. It's not long, but it's not too short. It's a little dry. Overall, on a score, 2.25 increments, I'd say this is sitting really nice. I think at a 4.25. Which is comparatively what I would give an Ardbeg Ugadal because of the things I would ding it for, which is not really a ding per se. It's like just something that I wish wasn't there would be the color chill filtering thing, maybe a little more age. But, you know, as far as what you're getting in taste and for price, it's a no-brainer. I wish it was readily available. I wish I could just walk down the street and pick it up. But that's the way it is. The 18 is by far my favorite readily available non-release bottle. He's talking about the Talisker. Yeah, it's damn good. Yeah, they have the 18. Thankfully, at my favorite speakeasy down here in Annapolis, they have a bottle of it. It's like their top shelf stuff. Unfortunately, don't have any better stuff than that. But as far as a nice pour for not crazy money, it's actually a pretty good deal. They also serve this really fun dish that's got cheese grits, bacon wrapped scallops, and some what's the other thing? Coleslaw. It's like that with the Talisker 18, you're in heaven. I mean, it's the best dish ever. Where should I start with the peated Scotch? I'm new and exploring other distilleries. Oh, Lagavulin 16 is a good option. Cato is right. I would say that's a good start. As far as a Laphroaig, I would say the quarter cask would be a good first starting point. It's not too, you know, in your face, but it's not, you know, too thin like a select. I mean, if you have tried peat at all and are not really into it, then select might be up your alley. But if you have dabbled in a little bit of peat and you're like, I know I like it at least, then go for the quarter cask. For Ardbeg, I would say the Ugadal is a no-brainer, or the standard 10. 10's good. If you like a sweet minty kind of a dram, the NO, that's their new one of their core. That's pretty good. But you have to like sweet, and you have to like a kind of a mint basil kind of a mix with it. For Bowmore, I've got a 12 over here. I haven't reviewed it. I haven't opened it yet. That's going to be something I'm going to try. I've heard the 12 is a good starting point with Bowmore. I can't say that for sure yet because I haven't gone there. For Kilhoman's, the Moncure Bay is a really good opening dram, I'd say. Kalila 12, if you want more of a smoke than a all straightforward peat, it's very smoky. Kalila 12 is one of my favorites. Bunnahabhain 12 is not really peated. It's like 3 ppm parts per million. So we're talking like extremely, you might as well say it's not peated basically. But the Bunnahabhain 12 for an Isle of Scotch is absolutely outstanding. I definitely recommend it. The Springbank 10 or 12 cast strength, those are both really good bottles. They're slightly peated. Their Campbelltowns are a little different, as well as the Glen Scotia 15. Glen Scotia 15, I think, is a great starting point for a little bit of peat, but a little bit of sherry. Yeah, the Peat Monster is good. Scott brought that one up. That's more of your heavier peat. Like, I would definitely not have you try like a Laphroaig 10 or a Lagavulin 8 out of the gate. But the Lagavulin 16 is a little less peat, a little more balanced. The Distiller's Edition's pricey, but it's got a great mix of peat and sherry together. I like peat with sherry, so that's what I should try to shoot for. But that's the thing. You're gonna have to start figuring out if you like your peat just straightforward in your face, if you like a young peat, or if you like a refined older peat, or if you like your peat mixed with sherry. I mean, you can go down so many roads on the journey. It's not funny, but wow, Bobby, this is freaking awesome. Mm. I'll definitely enjoy the rest of that too, man. That is just kick ass, I have to say. You really taste that charred action. It's funny because it's like Ardbeg grooves without the fruit. If you add a lot of fruit flavor with it, from this, you would get more of an Ardbeg grooves kind of thing. But I'm not complaining. I don't need a whole lot of fruit. This has got some of that almond cashew with cherries and lemon and oranges. So, I mean, you get some fruit. It's just a little, the smoke is a little more in your face on this guy. I love it, though. That's good. Let's have a little cleanser. Yeah, man, I got to get myself a bottle of that. I'm going to have to do an order. Bobby's going to see my ass all over Whiskey Exchange now. That's so good. Peat and sherry is like peanut butter and jelly. It's true for me, man. I love it. Ryan's having some Minot. Yeah, that's a dividing dram. Some people, I know Roy Aquavite wasn't a huge fan of it. And I think if you don't like an herbal sweet dram, then it's not going to be up your alley. But if you don't mind a little herb and a little sweetness, like minty sweetness with it, it's good. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't want to drink it every day, but it's it's not a bad thing. I do have a limited edition grooves up there. I already did the committee release. I'll do a limited edition grooves here probably in the next visit or so. Maybe do a Bowmore 12 and an Ardbeg grooves might be a good show just to see get some mix. No problem. I'll call you Apo to make it easier on myself. It is a good community, and all these guys in here, like Scotch Test Dummies, Whiskey in the Six, Rob, Malta Montreal, Swami, they all have really good channels too. Check them out. We all try to support each other. Whiskey Scout, good to see you. Stuck in your job and you've been dropped for 7 days, man. That sounds like hell. That's not good. Oh yeah, Lee's right. The 15 Darkest, it is sweet sherry and slight peat notes. The only thing about that one you got to be kind of weary of is the sulfur content. It's a little, the tannins are a little higher with that. It's funk. It's kind of got some funky notes to it. If you've never had a Ben Nevis 10, a Bowmore 15, Glentour 11, that kind of stuff, you got to be careful. I would get a sample first because if you don't like sulfur, you're not going to like it. It's very intense with those guys, in my opinion. Got to be careful with the sulfur because some people like myself like it. Some people, I know Mark Broda from Scotch 4 Dummies is really sensitive to it. He can get it out of Macallan, which I thought was interesting. I don't get it out of Macallan, but he can detect sulfur out of just about any type of dram he touches on different levels. So that's one that's one property you have to be wary of. For me, I don't like floral and the like vegetative stuff very much. The floral I can handle. Like I like a Talisker 18 floral. The vegetative stuff is where I'm kind of like a Glen Spey, Glen Ord. Some of those guys are really heavily vegetative. I'd say vegetal. Just not my thing. Not good to me. So, but some people like that kind of stuff. When I review stuff and it's got that property, I won't like ding it or say it's horrible. I just say it's just not my cup of tea. And for me, it might be a 2.5, but for someone that loves that quality in a Scotch or a whiskey, it's all for them. It's funny. I forgot to mention earlier. I warmed up with a Papa John. I'm sorry, a Paul John. I want to say Papa John. Think of the pizza or something, I guess. A Paul John from my friend Tosh out there. If you're, he goes by Whiskey Wonder on Instagram. Really cool guy here in DC. He stopped by a while back and he dropped off a couple samples. And I wanted to put this Paul John. And just on the side, I don't usually do outside of Scotch whiskey. I try to stick to it. But if you're looking for something that's a bourbon cask, that's 50. I think it's like a 55%. It's on the higher side. It's called a classic cask. The nose on it is dead up like a really good Japanese whiskey, like something that's a Hibiki or a high-end Nika, and very strong. I'm not sure there's no age statement on it, so it's probably young. But as far as intensity of flavor, you can drink it neat. I've added some water. Don't tell Lee, but it's good. It's like I'll tell you what, it's a hell of a lot better than that Nika Takatsuru stuff, man. That stuff was like too tame for me. I can appreciate some delicate aspects of it, but even the 17 or 21 of the Nika Takatsuru, that just wasn't my thing. Didn't have enough flavor to it. This has that, real nice combination of fruit, marshmallow, confection, really nicely done pastry, those types of aspects you would get. I think you should give it a try. I can't speak of their other offerings on the Paul John, but the classic 55, I want to say it's like 55.6, I think. That one's actually worth a look. On the side note, I was just wanted to mention that, and thank you, Tosh, for dropping that off. Let's take a look at the Laphroaig Cairdeas before it gets too late here. The 2018. Been looking for this bastard for like a month now. Thanks, Lee G, for dropping this one off. 51.8, man. That is a high one. And I have to tell you, Lee, I've got evidence here. Let's just see what Mr. Lee said about yay old Fino Cairdeas 2018. We're talking about, I was asking him what he thought might be a good, second drink. I knew I wanted to do the Talisker Dark Storm with Bobby, but I wanted to do something else. And I thought, well, he's always got some good salsa here, so maybe pick one. And I said, well, how about the new Cairdeas? He's like, yeah, there's some nice notes there. The ABV might be a little high, but you can always add. And then he stopped and caught himself. He said, "That which shall not be mentioned." He even put a crying face, laughing out loud, crying face on there, and I had to laugh out loud myself because Lee will never admit that he likes to add water to anything. I thought him admitting that this might be helped with a couple drops tells me that I might have to get the yay old dropper ready. I've got it on the side here, but we'll go in neat just to see how it goes first before we go there. So let's have a little chip first. I had chips. Where'd they go? I don't really need any. Water will took out the briny and smoke and all that, so I think we're gonna be good. Anyway. All right, so this has been sitting for a while. I'll try to do that to all my drams to give them a chance to breathe and be, somewhere consistent with everyone. This one has absolutely. It's funny it runs really fast. Did you get that too, Lee, when you were looking at this guy? It's funny because I'm giving a little swirl, to see what we got, and I mean it runs like quick. I mean, there's legs all over the place. It doesn't hold its form very much. Well, maybe on this side it does. Huh? Maybe it's been sitting so long that it had to give it a couple swirls to get it to stick, but it's kind of I'd say it's just going to be thin to medium on the mouth coat. This is just a guess. It's got It's got a nice color, but it's probably got. I don't think Laphroaig does a lot of coloring additions on it. New Cairdeas is dry smoke and lighter wine notes. Okay, interesting, but not surprising with that Fino sherry. Dry, acidic, salty are the three main things you usually get from a Fino. So this is going to be reminiscent of hopefully an Ardbeg or maybe a Mezzanine cask of some sort. They use Fino sherry typically, I think. I can't remember if that's the case or not, so don't quote me on that. But I'm just trying to think about. I've had some Finos with Springbank and trying to think something else I've had recently. I think it was a Fino sherry. Wow. Definitely a little more peat forward. This versus the Dark Storm. But you get smoke in there too. Nice smoke. It's definitely got that trademark Laphroaig, really well balanced smoke with some sort of like fruit-based flavor, or if it's not fruit, it'll be vanilla, like a QA cask or sherry. But it's always well balanced when they put something out. It's definitely on the sweeter end. Let's pull up some notes here and see what the 51.8. This is going to be first fill bourbon in ex-Fino sherry casks. So not only do you have that Fino, you also have first fill bourbon, which is a big plus in my opinion. That should put a little oomph in it. Trying to think of anything else noteworthy here on their notes. The single malt matured in warehouse 8 and 10. It was first placed in first fill bourbon cask before finishing its maturation in Fino sherry casks. Okay. Nothing else out of the ordinary there. You definitely get, I think, more wood properties also with the fruit on the side. Because of the bourbon. Get some oakiness. Almost like what I would say varnish, but not off-putting, not like a formaldehyde kind of thing, but a really nice like your dad your grandpa working in a wood shop has a really nice glaze going on. You could smell it, and it's got more of a sweetness to it than a medicinal. I mean, you do have that TCP iodine thing going on from a typical Laphroaig, but you also have a lot of good sweetness to balance it out. The fruit is what I'm trying to determine what fruit I'm getting out of this, and I'm getting more of a yellow-orange kind of, but it's not orange per se. Even though the colors I'm seeing is yellow-orange. It's more sweetness than citrus, I'd say. Well, I don't use water. I was curious if it would add more savory sweetness. Well, we're gonna find out. We'll do the old neat thing first. I'll add a couple of drops to it and see what else we get out of it. Definitely getting like powdered sugar on the nose too. Different from Laphroaig. I usually don't get that from a Laphroaig. Vanilla. Really bright on the nose. Ooh, wow. That is a little on the you might say hot end as far as initial like pow. Not overpowering though. Not too bad. It's a nice burn, you know. It's a nice initial. Man, you're like, oh, that smoke is intense. The peat. That's definitely not a tame Laphroaig, I'd say. Mm. This is funny because this reminds me, if you take the QA cask, which is a vanilla European oak, Quercus alba, toast type of notes. This is similar to that, but it's got a shitload more smoke with it. Definitely a lot drier. Taste is great though, as the finish is really dry. But it's got a nice ashy, like one of those white ashtray type finishes. You know what I mean? If you're not a smoker, you probably don't, but or an ex-smoker like myself. It's got a nice, really deep white ashtray finish on it. Oh, excuse me. Tamar was saying mango. No, this doesn't have tropical qualities, I don't think. It's oh wow. This has got some savory stuff going on too. It's very similar with the savory notes of the Dark Storm. They kind of go well together. This is a little more intense with the ABV, of course, but really, really nice. Longer finish on the Laphroaig Fino, the Cairdeas 2018. Really, not just a chocolate, but you get a really nice caramel. You get some mocha. Just to see what we get. Since Lee, I'm not gonna screen capture anything. Let's see what we get, if anything. I'm just doing like a little bitty, not even, I mean, barely even like noticeable. Couple of drops. Let that simmer a little bit. Wow, that's good though. I like it neat. I really do. That finish, man, goes on for a while. It's a better finish than the QA cask too. It's almost like they took their QA cask and they thought, how can we make this better? We'll smoke the hell out of it, which I think is a good call. Well, and that Fino sherry note, I think, gives it more of a sweet fruit base. The fruit, I'm still trying to identify. It's like I'm going more ginger though, like a sweet candy ginger. I'm gonna go with that. And the vanilla notes are there. There's some other fruit. I can't put my finger on it. That's what's driving me crazy. Maybe with a little couple of drops here, we'll get something else out of this that I can see. Yeah, Lee's on the dark side now. Dun 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 dun. Oh my. That's so good. It's so intense. It's even with a couple of drops, man. It's like if it doesn't need water, it doesn't need water at all. For 52, it's fine. The water only added wood notes for me. Yeah. Yeah, I think Lear's right. I think it brings out more of the. I'd like to know what type of oak they used. I mean, I know it's a bourbon cask, but is it American? Is it European? Like the Quercus alba, like the QA cask? That's my guess, but I know they do a lot of stuff with Maker's Mark in the United States for like barrels and stuff. So I'm not sure if That's a nice nose, man. I got to get myself a bottle of this. This is definitely on the definite buy list. Even though it's dry, um, I can appreciate a dry whiskey. The Ardbeg Ardbog was a drier one. That was the Manzanilla cask, which is, does deal with, I think, the Fino sherry. This is kind of like right along the same that same area. I'm just trying to think of score wise. I think it's a step above the 4.25 a little bit. I mean, it could always be more refined with age. Even though Laphroaig doesn't do coloring per se, and this is probably not chill filtered, I'd say. Oh, here we go. If it's bourbon, it has to be virgin American oak. Thanks, Tom, for passing that on. I wasn't sure if that was the case or not, and you definitely are onto something with that, because that is a requirement for bourbon. I forgot about. So it's funny because it's reminiscent of a European to me, but I honestly couldn't tell you if I could always decipher American versus a European oak. I do notice a difference. How to explain that though, I can't put into words just right off the bat, but maybe in time I can get there. This is definitely I'm newer to the journey. This is my third year being in Scotch and stuff, so still definitely learning every day, and it's a fun journey, I tell you. Oh, Laphroaig, yeah, I thank God they rarely ever make a mistake. So glad this ended up better than the. I haven't tried it yet, but I heard that Kilchoman port cask was not a fun one, so we'll have to see. Why that one is not regarded as being that good. It's kind of sad to hear, but I think it's really hard to do a port cask the right way with Scotch for some reason. At least having had the QA cask, it's like they took that and finished it in the Fino cask. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, man. That's exactly. I'm glad you backed me up on that, because I was hoping I didn't sound like I was crazy, because that's what I'm getting from it. Stephen Connor's saying that it could be the Fino cask influence, since it was more than likely European. Yeah. That's it's kind of like a mix of the two. At least as he'd ranked this third of the Cairdeas I've tried, behind the port and the Amontillado. Interesting. I have yet to try the port. That's on my to-do list. Thank God. got a sample of that, buddy. Very, very, very nice. I'm with you on the Amontillado. I love that one. We had that when we were in DC. That was a great bottle. I wish I still had some more of that, but good things never last, it seems like. I'm a big fan of Madeira, the red Cairdeas, the year after the 2014. So this would be 15? No, that was the green bottle. 16? 2016 Cairdeas Madeira. I like that one, but it's very sweet, and I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I love that Madeira, that cask finish, man. I thought that was gorgeous. I liked it better than I liked the cask strength quarter. I know that was a letdown for Lee, a little bit at least, but I like that one, but I do like the Madeira one, I think, actually better than the cask strength quarter cask one. It just wasn't very quarter casky, if that makes any sense. I know it was a cask strength quarter cask, but it didn't remind me of the original quarter cask very much, which is kind of strange. Lee says the Amontillado surprised the hell out of him. He didn't remember how good that was. Yeah. I think I think that is such a very hard to find casked Scotch nowadays. I'm trying to think of. I think Bunnahabhain's got like one specialty that you have to dig for to find. I've never seen a Springbank Amontillado. I don't think Ardbeg's done an Amontillado offering. Neither has Kilchoman. I'm not sure about Bowmore's done a lot of different things. They might have touched on it, but you don't really see that very often. It's a nice, smooth marzipan, almondy, hot buttered popcorn kind of Laphroaig to me. It feels like it's got age to it too. I think it's what's special about the Amontillado cask that I didn't get with the Madeira or the cask strength quarter. With this guy, with the Fino, it's got some savory notes that reminded me of a well-aged Scotch, but can I tell it's young? Yeah. Is that bad? No. Really nice, powerful flavor. Very well balanced on the sweet, savory side of things. As long as you're in the mood for a really nice, salty, sweet, dry dram, this will be up your alley. Nice long finish on it. It might have a little bit of a medicinal, that TCP iodine after note too. I enjoy it. If you're not a fan of the antiseptic, that quality of a Laphroaig, of course you might not be into it. But if you like Laphroaig, you like that kind of stuff, I think this is going to be right up your alley. Well, Cavalon's got an Amontillado. That's very nice. Steven's saying, I had to try that maybe. Cavalon, I've only had the that Vino Baroque, I think is what it's called. Solist. Excuse me. That's a good one. That was good. The only thing about that one, and I'm not sure if it's from like lavender or a specific note, I was getting some soapiness on the finish of that one. That's the only thing I would ding it for. I haven't officially reviewed it on distiller.com yet, but I'm waiting for them to let me edit my post. They've done some changes where they don't allow people to edit their posts for some strange reason, which drives me crazy. But I'm waiting to hopefully they'll fix that where I can start posting again. But that Cavalon, I like it a lot. I think I give it a 4 out of 5. The only thing that really turned me off is that when I taste a Loch Lomond, for example, Lomond, I should say, Lomond 12 has a real soapiness to it that I just don't get into. And I think it comes from certain floral properties like lavender, jasmine. If it's too intense, it just throws me off. And for some reason, I was getting that out of that Solus. I don't remember getting that the first time I had it. I had it at the Whiskey Fest in DC with Lee and Paul and some folks. And I remember enjoying it. I got the brown sugar molasses, dark brown sugar, heavy, real nice and sweet, but spicy balance. It was good, but for some reason, I also got some sort of soapy factor after on this last try. So maybe I should go with my first initial taste. Maybe there was some sort of residual soap or something left in the Glencairn, but I had to try it again maybe before I give it a final review. It's a tough one because it is well liked among many people. I've noticed. He says there's a certainly lively note from the new Cairdeas that you can't place these really digging in. Is it savory earthiness that you're getting, Lee, that you like a lot, or is it more of a bright? I think candied ginger is what it really brightens this one up for me. As I was trying to find that citrusy fruit I was getting, but I think it's more of a candied, sweet, gumdrop ginger type thing. A heavy smoke with it. That's so damn good. Steven's saying I haven't gotten that note, but each one is different since they are single cask. Yeah, I forgot about that. I think that maybe what it is, because that first one was dead up beautiful. The one we got from a salsa sample recently, I have to ask Lee. Have you opened up that Cavalon that we got from? I think it was from Pene. Have you tasted that one? And did you get any type of soapiness or anything overly floral from it that threw you off? I'm just curious to see if you got that. Hey, Richie Z, good to see you, man. While you're late to the party, I'm about to turn it off. Good to see you, though, man. We had a really good time with the Talisker Dark Storm, courtesy of Mr. Bobby Purnell, and the Laphroaig 2018 Cairdeas Fino, courtesy of Mr. Lee G. And both really good. A 4.25 in the Talisker Dark Storm. A 4.5, I'm going to say, on the Laphroaig 2018 Cairdeas Fino. Nice, dry, but yet pretty damn good. Lee hasn't opened his pour. Just remember the pour from the Whiskey Fest. Yeah, let me know, Lee, if you get different notes out of that. Like he said, if it's a single cask and it's different batch, maybe we got a different deal out of it. It's still good, but that soapiness, man, threw me off. Hopefully, it was just my glass or me having a rough day. Whiskey's got about a Loch Lomond 12 as well. Yeah, that one, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just that one's not in my wheelhouse. I was not, wasn't feeling it comparatively to like Old Pulteney 12. I'm cool with. A little one-dimensional, but it's a decent dram. Some other 12s. I'm trying to remember. We had the Knocknado 15. I thought was pretty a good balanced dram. That was a 15 though. The same kind of caliber type. Try the Manzanilla also. My favorite is the premium one. He's talking about their Cavalon series, I think. Yeah, I have to. I'm gonna have to see if I can maybe snag a sample or two of the Amontillado and the Manzanilla of the Cavalons to see what I get from it, because it was good. It's just rough for me because it's world whiskey, and I try to hang with the Scotch only because you know, Ryan was wondering about the Loch Lomond 18 good price. Yeah, I would get a sample if you can first, or if a buddy's got some salsa to you know, let you have a sip before shelling out. But if you already like floral notes and don't mind a little soapiness, it could be right up your alley, I'd say. Those Cavalon Vino Bourbon are also broken down from regular single cask and the Solus bottles. We had the Solus version, yeah. Yeah, that's the one that, yeah, I'm not sure if all the Solus are the same or if they're also single cast. I'm sure they're probably single as well, but it'll be interesting to see what you think about that particular sample from Prene, because I didn't find it as good as the one we had at the Whiskey Fest, but I could be off my rocker on that. I'll have to wait till you and Paul make a statement. So this is just the non-US version. Or this? Oh, okay, they're the same. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know much about the Cavalon stuff other than that one was pretty good that we had. I think it ran about 300-ish or 200. I can't remember if it was 300 or 200. It was on the higher end of stuff. I remember that. Whiskey saying the Amontillado cask I have is the Glenkinchie Distiller's Edition. I really like it. Interesting. I've had the only Glenkinchie I've had is a 12, which you know, it's not my wheelhouse. I used it to do a blend with a Mortlach, which I thought had some savory notes that went well with the Glenkinchie, and but by itself it was okay. But it's interesting to see that they have. I've heard of their Distiller's Edition, but I didn't know it was a Amontillado cask. So I'll have to try that just for giggles sometime if I see it, or you know, get a sample or something. That would be intriguing, just to see what it's like, because I could picture the Glenkinchie 12 in a you know, finished out in Amontillado would have a nice taste to it. It could probably be reminiscent of the Laphroaig Cask of the Bunnahabhain I had that was a 13-year-old, where they take the core and they put it in a year or two of the Laphroaig Cask. It was really good. Richie thinks the Solist might be a higher ABV. Okay. Yeah, I don't know enough about the those guys to make a statement on that one, but yeah, it was interesting. It's fun to try all these. We have a lot to go. Lee is let us. We're going to do a Dallas stew at some point. He's going to be coming into town, I think, if everything holds well, for a visit here, and we'll be doing a couple special bottles. I have a feeling. I'm definitely going to do the Ardbeg 23, I think, with them if we can. I still have a sample of that, which is my 5.5 out of 5 whiskey. Uh, we'll be churning out some notes for that guy, I'm sure. I cannot pronounce this one. Kennedy. It's a 23, which is interesting because they don't do the full 750 milliliter bottle. They only do like a 325. It's what's used in Monkey Shoulder blends. That'll be an interesting find because I've always wanted to try that one. It's been on my radar for quite some time, even personally. We'll be looking at a Brayville, I think is how you say it. That's going to be a Cimaroli, I think, is the distiller on that one. It should be a fun try, as well as some other things that we are finishing up this round of all the distilleries in Scotland. It's kind of sad to wrap things up, but at the same time, I think we'll still be doing some salsa exchanges and try to get everyone through even more experiences on the side. I got an Apple Hour 18 I'd like to try from Mr. Scott. That'll be a fun one to do. I like the Abana. That's their really powerful sherry bomb. 18 is kind of like that, more refined, but doesn't have the clove finish. I do enjoy on some of the Abana batches, but we'll get to that one at some point. That's a fun one I think we'll have to do, as well as some others. But well, I'm going to have to wrap things up, guys. I really appreciate you stopping by and having a couple of dreams. As always, big shout out to the sample from Bobby and Lee. And Ryan says anything similarly is really good. It should be interesting. I think, I can't remember if Lee already reviewed it, but I try not to look at him too much to not be influenced by it, but he might have and liked it, but we'll have to see. Thanks a lot, Stephen, and please give me a thumbs up if you don't mind. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and we'll be doing some stuff here shortly. If I can't do anything on Tuesday, I might start. I've been talking about doing some short 5-minute reviews on more easily accessible stuff, like core series for different distilleries that I like. So we might start doing that on the side just to get some quick 5-minute stuff out there. For I like doing the live stuff with the really hard to find stuff. It's more laid back and enjoy going through all the different notes and enjoying with people like you guys that have also are lucky enough, like myself, to get these kinds of bottles. But it's also, I think, good to do a Glendronach 12, do a Ardbeg 10, or some of these that are just run of the mill for the new guy that's just starting, and give him a really good 5-minute just overview of what it is. And I think I'll keep it unedited and just run it through it live, but just really do it short, sweet, post it up, and I'll segregate those, call them like 5-minute reviews, and have a little pot for that. But I still am going through all my old videos. I'm trying to get some on Facebook that I haven't ever posted. I thought about getting Instagram's got a new video thing that they're trying to compete with YouTube on. I forgot what it's called. They have channels now. I might try to do some of that stuff on the side. It's just time. I'm also into radio and stuff, so I work full time, have a kid, and married, and all that. So it's hard to get all the time to do all the fun stuff. I wish I was retired. Well, at least I got a 20 years left before I have to worry about that, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get lucky and win the lottery. Great stuff. Agreed, Ryan. Thanks so much, man. And thanks, Richie and Lee and Tom and Scotch for Dummies, Scotch Test Dummies, Swami, Rob, all you guys have visited me and been supportive. I really appreciate it. Maybe I'll get my own coin out sometime. I need to get a hat or a shirt or something. I've got a really good logo my wife did for me, so I need to get it out there more, do some cards or something. But it's just time, you know. Later, Lee, we'll talk about New York maybe if we can. Maybe figure out something. If not New York, maybe something with the Scotch Test Dummies. I know they're talking about doing something in October. But New York would be fun. That's December. I think it's around Christmas, though. I'm going to be traveling to Kentucky to visit family during Christmas, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. I'll have to look at the dates and see when it is to see if I can work something out. But as much of